Director and distinguished guests, both here and joining us online. Welcome to the 5th Capacity Building Hub at COP28 in Dubai. And my name is Ju-Young Yu, and it's my honor to be a moderator to be the session entitled Refugee Women, Climate Action, and the Green Economy. And this session is the collaborative effort between GGGI and SIG Feminist Network. So today, we will explore how the green economy can empower refugees, women, and the vulnerable communities. So yeah, we are here to share our experiences and success stories, and then we will co-create solutions for capacity building to tackle climate change. So let's begin with our first lightning talk by Mr. Christophe Assikut, country representative from GGI Jordan office. So he will discuss green jobs ecosystem creation in Jordan, through capacity building, emphasizing a triangular approach involving in public sector and private sector and the individuals. Christophe?
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and nice to be here at the COP today. I would like to introduce a project that our organization, GGI, is developing together with the Ministry of Environment of Jordan with funding from the Korean government, the Korean Development Agency, KOICA. The focus on this project is on setting up an enabling environment for the creation of jobs within the green economy in Jordan. And we have a specific target for beneficiary in terms of women and also refugees. GGI, we are an organization, intergovernment organization. We are active in 42 member countries now, and we support our member country government to transition their economy to a green economic model, essentially. So, yes, this first slide, as you can see, is just to set the scene. It's just to show you that Jordan has been located in a region that has been experiencing war, chaos, turmoil in the recent years. And there has been quite a lot of refugee population. So we have Syria in the north of Jordan, we have Iraq in the east of Jordan, and we have Palestine in the west of Jordan. Here you can see on the screen that most refugees are from Syrian nationality, followed by Iraq. And as you can see, there is no mention of any refugee from Palestine. It's because in Jordan, Palestinian refugees are not accounted for in the number of refugees. Also, the total population in Jordan is 8 million, and we have registered around 700,000 refugees. Just to give you an idea that almost 10% of the population is refugees, basically, without counting for the Palestinian. Another information about the background of this project is that Jordan has been experiencing high unemployment. In 2014, it was around 14% unemployment, but in 2021, it's up to 25% average unemployment, and obviously it's impacting much more refugees, so the youth as well. So for example, we have 31% unemployment for the youth, 34% for refugee women, and it goes up to 55% for Syrian men refugees, essentially. So GGI, we have supported the government in different policy documents, including their national green growth plan and national green growth action plan. And through this work, we also identify some opportunities for job creation within the green economy. So what we try to do with this project is to combine and to integrate these findings in terms of the refugee crisis, in terms of the large unemployment, together with our findings within a green economy to develop a project that could combine and tackle these issues through the green economy. So next slide, I will show you the main components of our project. So we have, let's say, three main components. The first one, it's more of a research, desk research. We want to identify where are the green jobs and where is the potential for green jobs. We also saw that there is a little knowledge about green jobs within the public sector and the private sector, what is a green jobs, etc. So under this component one, we will also do some capacity building to the government. And the outcome of this first component of this project is an action plan, essentially. It's an action plan for the government to create green jobs, basically. All right, so the second one will focus on capacity building. So in the second one, we have identified beneficiaries, job seekers. We are trying to understand what are the skills of job seekers, what are the skills available on the market, especially for refugee women, for the youth. We are also interviewing green businesses to see what are their needs for the future. And with that, we develop what we call a skills gap assessment, essentially, where we will try to understand where are the skills, where is the demand for green skills, and based on that, we understand where is the gap and how we are going to fill this gap by capacity building. So we are developing different capacity building modules aiming at job seekers, and as you can see, we have a good target on 1,000 job seekers with 50% women, 50% refugees, and 25% for the youth. Just to finish, the final component is not on job seekers, but it's on green entrepreneurship. So here we are going to train green entrepreneur, which means entrepreneurs that have just the idea, not yet setting up their company, but have a green idea. So we will help them to develop their business model, etc. We have a strong capacity building and training program for that. The second one, 3.2, it's about a green incubator. So here we are talking about people that have already set up their green businesses, but are looking to scale up and nurture the result, so that we will focus on existing green entrepreneurs. And the final one, we have also an accelerator program. So accelerator, we are talking about companies that have already 1 or 2 year existence, and to again help to potentially enhance their business model and scale up their activities. And the final component will be an online platform, which we are designing in partnership with the Ministry of Labor. So this platform will have direct link with the Ministry of Labor main employment platform. So there will be like a green tab to make sure job seekers and green employer can also benefit from the employment platform. So I'm going to stop here, but to be very practical, I would like to show you a video because we are talking refugee women, but unfortunately we were not able to bring anybody here. So we have an interview, it's very recent, we have interview last week. We went to Madaba near Amman in Jordan to interview a refugee from Syria, who has created her own activities and business in organic farming activities. Yes. Yes, please.
جواهر اسمي، الجنسية سورية، جينا على الأردن 2012. اشتغلنا عمال أنا وعيلتي، بعدين مؤسسة نهر الأردن.
Yes. So she is explaining that she is having greenhouse and then it's provided by Jordan River Foundation. And then she's using organic fertilizer for her farm. And then also it's a family farm. So she is having this farm with her husband and her families, like her kids, her children together. Yeah. And then she's saying that her life is significantly changed before and comparing to before and after. Because she can now have income. Yeah. So she got more enhanced capacity, like a financial capacity comparing to the before. And then she's got strawberries, strawberries and beans. Yeah, she's got strawberries and beans. Yeah, she's working with her husband. And indeed, there are, of course, as Christophe explained, there are so many refugees in Jordan, like 10% of population is refugees, so it's really needed some economic support for them. So we expect that our Green Jobs project can support them to enhance their capacity, financial capacity, by providing very good, like a good business practice, agricultural practices, and also we are going to do some hydroponics and aquaponics, like more saving water, because the water scarcity is the main issue in Jordan. Yeah, and then I was there as well, and then she gave me some strawberries, very fresh, and it was very nice. Yeah, so.
Thank you. Sorry, we had
Okay, so now joining us virtually, we have Miss Umbrin Salim from SIG. So she will discuss feminist leadership for climate justice, providing insights into empowering women in climate action.
Depending on where we are. I especially like to thank UNFCCC for providing us this opportunity and space to share, because there have been many institutional and organizational challenges that we have overcome, and we have finally made it here. I would like to share
Yeah, I think we have some technical issue. Yeah, linking. So maybe we can wait a couple of minutes, until we reconnect with her. I think we can have we can have a presentation. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you can hear me, or Is this better? Yes, great. So I'm Seyran Khalili, and we do have a few technical issues. And Ambreen, I don't know if you get back the connection, but so far we will try to present to our best abilities in these technical times. So I'm here today speaking also on behalf of Ambreen, who couldn't be here in present. But Sikh Feminist Network is a network which works a lot on research to response, and we're here to present the approaches, but also the ways which Sikh has worked. I myself, I'm affiliated with Numa Connectors, but it's in a partnership with Sikh. So we're representing here a broad network of both women working in different organizations. Maybe you can go to the next slide, please. Great. So with the Sikh Feminist Network, there is one of the things that they worked on is the systemic challenges of climate change, which has been sort of how the environmental climate change has worked with especially the vulnerabilities. And I know that Ambreen had a lot to talk about on this project, and she might at some point come back to us. But the way we've worked so far with Sikh and also with Numa Connectors is through our project, the coffee tables, where we have gathered a lot of the women from climate affected areas to bring their voices to the session, bring their voices to the decision making tables, and understand more the deep traditional and ancestral knowledge which a lot of these women with lived experience have. So it talks a lot about how these are a lot of systemic challenges. One can say that, for example, research shows that most women do not own themselves the lands that they work on. And also when it comes to production, women are not on the seat where they are the ones that are reselling the product. So again, we have a few systemic challenges, but also it shows sort of how these are creating a array of vulnerability. So through Sikh's two different projects, one of them which we have also been leading as Numa Connectors, we see that the vulnerabilities are not only one or two, and there are many different types of vulnerabilities. And there's also many different types of knowledges about climate change. And that is what we want to bring forward, is that how climate change and how the environment has been discussed has not been given the feminist voice or the way that women themselves feel comfortable having a safe space to talk about climate change. I myself, I'm Kurdish, but I'm also from Iran, and I also live in Norway. So often when we discuss sort of climate change, it is often, for example, me as a Norwegian talking on behalf of the Kurdish or Iranian region, and that is something that we want to flip. We want to bring more women who are actually living and being in these spaces to come here, and not having this global north and globals. And this is one of the things that also was mentioned by my colleague. She's sitting also with me here. She's one of my friends, and she highlighted this to me today. And I think that is such a beautiful message, that the voice has to be given to those that actually experience climate change on the ground, who are responsive and who can understand that. We can go maybe to the next slide. So this is one of the projects as the oak tree. So it's a video, so we will show. So if you will maybe press play, and we will have it. Yeah.
You can.
Okay, watching the video.
اسمي محمد الصيام، أحد اللاجئين من أبناء قطاع غزة بالأردن، بسكن في مخيم غزة للاجئين الفلسطينيين في جرش. سنارة أجت فكرتها من المثل اللي بيحكي إن علمت الناس الصيد فأنت طعميتهم كل يوم، لكن إن أعطيتهم السمك فأنت طعميتهم بس اليوم. فهي سنارة رمز للأداة والمعرفة والمهارة اللي بنزود فيها الأشخاص بحيث إنهم قادرين ينتقلوا من طور المعال إلى طور المعين.
Porque antes nosotros no teníamos una combinación de color como tal. Antes se hacía con el tiempo y con esa combinación se combinaba con la que la mujer artesana miraba a su alrededor. Y en el tiempo de lluvia cuando salen los colorinches, siempre nos identificamos con esos colores vivos, con el morado, con el fucsia, con el color rojo, que casi toda la mayoría de la mujer siempre sale con su manta colorinche. ¿Pero por qué? Porque también por el tiempo del agua, el tiempo cuando hay lluvia, las flores nacen, los árboles están verdes, las flores, el olor de la flor, del silvestre, o sea, no hay una cosa tan natural y tan algo que tú estás en tu territorio y tú hueles a lluvia, hueles a tierra, hueles a algo fresco, a las flores frescas, pero ya no se puede en el territorio, porque ya tú hueles, o sea, lo que hay acá es puro carbón, tú respiras puro carbón, en el aire, en la tierra, en los árboles, todo se consigue, es el polvillo del carbón. Nosotros en las capacitaciones mostrábamos cómo era provincial, cómo es el provincial y cómo queremos provincial en un futuro. De pronto yo no tengo un trabajo fijo, no tengo un sueldo que me digan, te voy a pagar tanto, pero para mí la ganancia de acá es la experiencia y es que cada día nosotros aprendemos cosas mejores. Aprendemos cosas y esas cosas que nosotros aprendemos, nosotros lo replicamos con nuestra...
I'm so glad that the video worked. So, and here you see it's a woman and who is explaining how she's really understanding how the food systems and the textile industry is also affecting around her. I was mentioned that for a lot of them, just being able to show their own solutions and giving back the solution. When we're talking throughout this COP, I've been here throughout, and we talk a lot about solutions. But I think for a lot of these women, they have the solutions, but they need the space and they need a safe space to be order to, and the support for them to bring forward these solutions and to make it more sustainable. Thank you.
And yeah, I forgot to introduce the presenter. Yes, so her name is Seyran Khalili from New Women Connectors, and I would like to apologize for everyone for these technical issues. But yeah, we will have offline discussion session. So yeah, now we have discussed about how we can empower refugee women for climate action with perspectives from the Middle East and Europe. So I'd like to invite our panelists to the stage. So yeah, and I also would like to introduce our panelists. Yeah, once they join on the stage, I will introduce them. So she is Ms. Sarah Al-Halik, Head of Climate Change Adaptation from the Ministry of Environment, Jordan, and Dr. Jihad Al-Sawair, Director of Green Economy Unit from the Ministry of Jordan, and again, Mr. Christoph and Ms. Seyran. Yeah. So first, let's hear from the Middle East first. So, Dr. Jihad. So, what is the potential of the green economy to provide refugee women with sustainable green jobs to address climate change?
Thank you, Jo Young, for this question, and I would like to thank the Global Green Growth Institute for this invitation. And we have a long history of cooperation. They are our partners in Jordan. Let me first start by emphasizing on the green growth efforts that were done by Jordan. It started with the analysis phase. So back in 2011, we analyzed the situation with regard to green growth potential in Jordan. Through a study that was done by UNEP, where we identified 6 sectors: energy, water, waste, agriculture, tourism, and transport. Then after that, we actually started the planning phase for how to implement our green growth agenda. So we started with the governance of our work. So this consisted of two things. The first thing is to actually form a high-level steering committee for green growth in Jordan, which is chaired by the Minister of Environment and with members from the Secretary Generals from the six sectors I mentioned, in addition to a technical committee which is composed of different members from not only from the government but also from all entities in Jordan, including the private sector. After that, we signed an MOU with the Global Green Growth Institute because they are experienced with the green growth agenda. So we actually developed our national green growth plan, which is a roadmap that actually sets the actions to be done. And this was based on the cost-benefit analysis of 24 projects, 4 projects per sector. We identified what are the gaps and we explained what needs to be done as recommendations. Then after that, we developed our Green Growth National Action Plan, and we came up with 86 actions for the 6 sectors. And these actions are actually needed to implement our green growth agenda and objectives. So we have 5 objectives that we seek to implement. The first one is to actually have preservation and protection of the environmental components and the preservation of the biodiversity. Then to contribute to Jordan's economic growth, to create sustainable economic growth in Jordan, and to have the social dimension, which is very important within the economic growth agenda in Jordan, by reducing poverty and unemployment, and also to enhance our resource efficiencies, and lastly to address climate change through the mitigation and adaptation. Of course, the quality of growth in Jordan is important for us. We need a growth that is both environmentally sustainable and socially inclusive, and that growth which leaves no one behind. So from the beginning, from the planning until the implementation, we always think of all segments of the society to be included within this growth agenda, including women, youth, and refugees areas. The second thing I want to talk about is the Climate Refugees Nexus Initiative, which was launched last year by His Majesty King Abdullah II. And this is a global initiative that's initiated by Jordan, and its main focus to attract the international community to focus on those countries like Jordan that have high percentages of refugees and at the same time suffer from the impacts of climate change. So this, as was mentioned at the beginning, Jordan, for example, this is not a Jordanian initiative. I want to emphasize this is a global initiative. But for example, Jordan is about 11 million. Third of this 11 million is refugees. The refugees actually have pressures on our environment, on our climate agenda. So for example, when greenhouse gases are actually transported by refugees from where they were to the country which is hosting them, and in addition to the impacts on the water resources. For example, Jordan is known as a country with water scarcity. So there should be special attention given to those countries in terms of financial and technical support to enable these countries to increase its resilience and to adapt to these challenges. Lastly, I would like to just mention some projects that have the potential and some areas where women and refugee women have contribution in Jordan. And this includes, for example, organic farming, composting, hydroponic, water harvesting, waste sorting and recycling, energy efficiency, solar water pumps, for example. And we have some environmental societies in Jordan that's completely formed from women. And they work with the recycling and, for example, the textile waste recycling or the production, for example, of multi-use cloth bags to reduce the waste in the country. And we have some work going on with GIZ, for example, the Green Infrastructure Project that hire minimum 30% women, 50% of them are Syrians, and 50% are Jordanian, in addition to some work that's being done with, for example, I'm just giving some examples. Like, for example, what's done by Wadi, which is a sustainable ecosystem development NGO in Jordan that's working with the plant nurseries. They actually establish plant nurseries and they produce high-quality native seedlings that can be used for the greening and for planting trees in Jordan to restore our ecosystems. That's all from my side from now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your insights. And I could see that like the ministry environment in Jordan has got so many inclusive green initiatives in Jordan. And thank you again. And already Dr. Jihad shares some jobs for refugee women, but as the head of climate change adaptation of Ministry of Environment Jordan, I think you could share more, you could provide more insights. So my question is, could you what types of jobs contributing to climate change adaptation could be filled by refugee women?
Thank you, dear Jo Young. But first of all, please allow me to take this opportunity to thank the organizers who've invited us to be part of this wonderful session. And I would like to express my special gratitude to GGI and COICA, and especially Jordan's office, because we're working with them as they are our colleague, and they are also within the ministry. So thank you, Jo Young, thank you, Christoph, for this invitation and for giving me this opportunity to be part of this session. Coming back to your question, I would like first to explain the definition of what the adaptation jobs are. When you talk about adaptation, you should keep in your mind that adaptation, it's a country, the definition of adaptation somehow is generally agreed on about, but for each country there is a type of adaptations that need to be taken in consideration when building the adaptation measures that need to be tackled, the resilience and the adaptive capacity for each country. So getting this in our mind, please let me share that from also a negotiator perspective, that we should focus about each country's nature and each country's negative impact of climate change. When we talk about adaptation jobs, we talk about a real implementation for a specific priority adaptation measures. Where we find those priority adaptation measures, it's like a circle. We find those adaptation measures in countries' documents and countries' priority policies that we have. From Jordan perspective, our priority adaptation measures are highlighted in our nationally determined contributions, which is the political document for climate change now. And also the technical adaptation measures comes from the National Adaptation Plan. I've been leading the adaptation plan process in Jordan. There is a lot of adaptation measures have been highlighted under 7 priority sectors. At the beginning, we start, I think this is my phone, so I need to switch it. Engineer Majid, you can pick my phone and switch it off. Thank you. Sorry for that. So the cycle is that creating jobs comes from implementing a real adaptation measures, which is priority for each country. So coming back to the definition of those measures, it depends on country's perspective. And this is what we always have in our technical meetings, in our even in our negotiation meetings, that we should keep in mind each country's needs and each country's perspective when we come to talk about adaptation, when we come to talk about what our needs and what we need to have in our countries to increase our resilience and our adaptive capacity to the negative impact of climate change. From all levels, political levels, technical levels, and all levels in climate change in Jordan, we believe that refugee women are part of our community. So increasing the resilience of our community will reflect on increasing the resilience of women refugee. So when you ask me, dear Juyong, about what type of jobs that women refugee can fill, I can have the answer from two ways. That women refugee can fill specific jobs related to adaptation, and there is a need to create jobs that to provide security and to provide in different levels, social security, economic security for all women. That I think for most of the developing country and for Jordan also, women are took all the responsibility to make the life easier, and from nothing we can do a lot of things. So creating jobs will empower women. And when we talk about women, we truly believe that refugee women are part of our community. So women, Jordanian women and refugee women, we work a lot on with communities. I can reflect on the process for developing our national adaptation plan, which is the base for the adaptation in Jordan, that I also insist that we need to have communities' rule defined and really reflected on our process for developing the national adaptation plan. Because when you tackle the needs for community, you will reflect, you will have a proper implementation for your measures, and you will have the confidence that those measures will hopefully be sustained and will be well managed, because it comes from their needs. And when there is no issue that you can talk about adaptation without tackling the community's need, because as been mentioned in the previous session, that to reflect the needs, you need to better understand what your communities need, and this will make you feel confident about this need will be fully implemented. Answering your question is that it will be obvious that in all sectors we can have a role for women and for refugee women to play a part to increase their resilience, and also this will reflect to countries' resilience and to countries' adaptive capacity. So in all sectors, let's say in Jordan, as Dr. Jihad mentioned, that we are one of the most scarcity countries that have the problem about water scarcity. So in water sectors, water harvesting, specific technicalities about water management and water providers, maybe as water technicians, as households also, and dealing with the water issues for renewable energy and energy efficiency, as also our natural resources is limited, for waste management, for agricultural issues, not only adaptation jobs, but also adaptation with co-benefits jobs. I'm sorry for reflecting negotiation terms, but if just stop me anytime you need, because the women rule, I believe that they can not also, it's not a need that they need it from the government. We need their role to be really reflected on our process to developing our policies, our documents, our commitment to the international community, because we believe that they will play, and they are playing a good part in increasing our resilience and our adaptive capacity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, for sharing your insights. Yeah, I could feel that. Yeah, how long you have been thinking how we can integrate refugee women into green economy, and then I just realized that there is no limitation for the refugee women when it comes to green economy or for all the sectors. Whether refugees or women, yeah, they can contribute to climate change mitigation and adaptation. So, yeah, I really appreciate for your insights. Then I want to hear from the Europe as well. So the question for Mrs. Seran, yes. So, yeah, I want to ask the same question. So what? Yeah, no. I think maybe, yeah. Then. My question is going to be, what will be our key actions that should be taken to ensure refugee women are not only our beneficiaries, but also as our active climate actors, active agents in climate action and green economy?
I like that question very much. So it's a very important question. We as refugee women, we as people who are of displacement, and I say we because many of us in the room might have had refugee experience. I myself have refugee experience from my own family. So when we say refugees, it is actually everyone around us, but that is the way that refugees today are being displaced, and we're changing this narrative. So when we're always taking in refugees or people of migration as beneficiaries, we are continuing to feed into the system which is already there. We have a lot of solutions, we have a lot of lived experiences that is transferable to the communities, and that can be taken in. So I'm speaking here from a perspective of Europe, which is where I'm based, which is where I have most knowledge of, but also from the Nordic region as well. And what we see is, I was mentioned two important key ways, and one of them, the first one, is meaningful participation. Allowing and creating spaces and making the lived experiences of refugees and migrants as meaningful. And what does that mean? That means that when we are consulting and we're inviting and we're taking in refugees and migrants' perspectives, that these perspectives are understood and that they're taken into further in the policy making process. Oftentimes a lot of refugees and people of displacement are asked many questions or consulted, however, about their needs. If they are really taken into further policy, that is where we need to be, and that where we need to push more forward. So meaningful participation means that throughout all of the policy cycles, when in Europe we're making policy, that meaningful representation matters. It matters that you see someone who has a refugee background who also speaking on their behalf. So, and they're working for their communities. We have refugee-led organizations in Europe doing an amazing job, working for a lot of their communities, and that then comes the second part of it, and that is fair share of resources. So with all of these different refugee-led organizations and grassroots level doing a lot of work using from their own time, fair share of resources, that means that the funding goes directly to them, and because they know the solutions, they know their communities very well, but because of the funding, which can not always be sustainable, they need to work for securing that. And I would like to mention one last point, and I think even spaces like this, creating the visibility of the needs of migrant refugees in Europe is a way of sharing the knowledges. As my colleague here mentioned, many of them have lived experience, which is from the soil that they know from their homelands. I am a refugee who has been in the diaspora for the past 30 years, so I don't know the soil of the land that I was born, but I know that many of these refugee women and people of displacement know their soils very well. But when they come to Europe, they need to also have access to those lands, to those places, to the food market, to be able to upskill themselves and to learn again how is it in Europe? How can I use the knowledge I have from my homeland and to make it a good value for being here in Europe? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Aaron, for your perspectives. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. I think it's really important to make the refugee women as the key agent when it comes to climate action. We really need to engage with them very closely when it comes to decision-making process, policy-making process, and also I really respect their autonomy. It's not, of course it's needed, but I think like a capacity building, it's for everyone, not only for the refugees or women or youth, but I think capacity building is for everyone. So I think we can learn from each other, and then it's like capacity building has to be not like teaching or like learning. I think it's more like sharing knowledge. Like we can learn from refugees, and then they can learn from us. So I really like your perspective, and thank you very much. But I think we still have a little bit time for Mr. Christoph. So, in your capacity as the country, but very short answer, please, because of the time constraint. So, in your capacity as the country representative of GGGI Jordan office, could you please provide your insights how international organizations like GGGI can support globally to integrate refugee women into green economy?
Thank you, Julian. I would also first like to praise the government of Jordan also, because as you can see, they are very supportive. We have a very great partner with the Ministry of Environment, and that's very important because, these refugee and women issue, they cover not only obviously climate change, but so we have to be in very good relationship with the Ministry of Labor, for example, Ministry of Social Development. The refugee is under the Ministry of Interior in Jordan. So for the project I was reviewing earlier, we have set up a project steering committee, and the participation of the government, of the stakeholder, are also critical to the success of this project. I also want to reflect on what you mentioned, Seran, on the policy. If we want to have the policy framework in place, we need to work closely with government partners, and it's very important to have established very, very good relation with the government. I also, back to your question, Julian, I also would like to mention that at GGI, at global level, we measure our result on 6 strategic outcomes, and one of them is green jobs. So we are not only active in this sector in Jordan, but we have a similar project in Burkina Faso also. These are not refugees from other countries, but internally displaced people in Burkina Faso, also supported by the Korean government. Also, we have 2 larger initiatives supported by Qatar in the Pacific and in the Caribbean, where we have what we call the Greenpreneur program, which engage also women in creating their companies to go on with their their ideas, their green ideas. So this is really some examples of what GGI does at global level, and we are more than happy also to cooperate with other countries, to other organizations, to see how we can cooperate in this sector, because it's a little bit beyond just development aid. Here, if we manage to create green jobs, we offer a sustainable solution for the refugees, not your typical cash for work project that would last for a short time, and then when the finance is dried up, it stops. With green job, we can make sustainable difference, basically. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Christoph. So yeah, thank you for our panelists for your insights. Yeah, and indeed we planned a Q&A session, but due to the time constraints, so for further questions and the next screen. Yeah, can you please show our contacts? Yeah, so yeah, there will be contact on the screen. So for the question, I think you can contact us. Yeah. Yeah, and then as we conclude this session, I really want to thank you to our panelists for sharing your insights, and for the audience for your understanding and then your patience. Throughout this session, and thank you for joining us again. And let's continue to work together for the greener and equitable future. Thank you.